All right, bullies, welcome back. Sub-Messenger here with you again for our next episode in the series on putting together a podcast, which is a complete failure. If you remember last time, we took our source audio, about 2 hours of it, chopped it up into a couple of discrete pieces so that I can do some audio post-processing on it. Going to run it through some filters here. The way we're going to do that is using this program right here, Audacity. This is free software. I think it's also open source, multi-platform available. You can get it for Mac, you can get it for Linux, you can get it for Windows. You just need to get it. If you're doing any kind of audio processing, it's a nifty little Swiss Army knife to have in your toolkit. So what I've got down here on the bottom of the screen are the files that we had chopped up previously. So we took this raw.m4a and we cut it up into some waves. And the reason, if you recall, is that Audacity kind of works natively with the wave format. So if you brought in an MP3, for example, it would basically have to go change that, transcode it into a wave file before you could start working on the actual audio. And this program, Audacity, does not, to my knowledge, have the ability to read the M4A audio format. Possibly there's a plugin that would do it, but it would have to do the same thing. It would have to transcode the audio. So that's why we did that in, as you recall, ShotCut, the previous program that we were using, and the program that we're going to return to before we finish this series. So without further ado, let's take our first cut and just get it in here. And I'm just going to suck this in. Let's take a look at this message right here. So this is asking me, do I want to make a copy of the file that I'm going to edit, or do I want to just edit this file directly? Now, since I have the source, and it would take some time, but it would not be impossible for me to remake this cut one raw. So I'm just going to use this, and hopefully I don't screw up. So it's going to take just a moment here to read this in. Okay, so now we've got something we can play with. So let me tell you kind of what the workflow is going to look like. On this file, I think there's going to be 4 operations that I want to do. So let me talk through those real quick, or list them. So I want to do a compressor. And what the compressor does is it sort of homogenizes your noise profile. So it brings your lower stuff up, and it caps your peaks as well. So it squashes that all together, it compresses it to kind of put it into a uniform volume. So, and this is going to be an extreme example, and I'm not using a compressor on this stream, but if I was to get like way away from the microphone like this, right? So that's going to be a lower level of audio that I would want to bring up. And similarly, if I got way up on the microphone like this, I'm definitely blowing it out. So that would be something that the compressor would also handle. So compressor is one thing that we're going to do. We're going to do a noise reduction, which is very similar to what I showed you on the previous episode that I'm using the Reefer plugin for. So that's this guy right here. So this red curve, basically, is a noise profile. And actually, I need to fix that. Where's that peak coming from? I think it might actually be picking up my mouse click there. All right. So anyway, that same sort of operation we're going to do, except we're going to do it on a static file instead of on a live stream. Another thing that I want to do is called Truncate Silence, and that is a plugin. We'll get to exactly how to get that plugin and how to use it in a little bit. But basically, let's say someone took an extended moment to get their thought together, like I did just there. Well, that's a lot of dead air, and so that adds to the length of your broadcast. But sometimes it also doesn't necessarily sound like the conversation is flowing like it needs to in order to keep your audience engaged with your podcast. So we try and shorten those things out. And so that is what that plugin does. And then finally, in concert with the noise reduction, there's also a strange buzz / line noise that I picked up for the first 30 minutes or so. So that would be covered in this cut one. We're going to try and make that go away. Oh, and actually one more thing that I want to do is I want to bring up the bass levels in our voices if we can. And so those two pieces are going to kind of collide a little bit, and that's going to get a little bit tricky towards the end. But let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing I'm going to do is compressor. So when I'm looking at the compressor, I want to go in and look at a couple of places. So for example, like right here, you can see that I've got some really high audio peaks in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click play on this guy, and let's watch our VU meter up here in the top right. And I want to see where my peaks are hitting. And we're going to use that as one of our parameters. Speakers, USB audio, no. I want that to go. Okay, so we'll save that for later because that's kind of part of the joke at the end. But you can see here I hit up around -2, -3 decibels. So that's kind of our peak. And let's go look at our silence. I'm sure you heard that nasty, nasty stuff. So I'm going to select this area right here. I'm going to go over here and hit this button right here, fit selection width. This is really handy. So you can see all this noise right here. And let's just kind of see where this guy is falling. So he's hitting, ignore that 36, there was a little clip right in there. It was maybe somebody hitting a desk or something like that. Let's try just this area. Okay, so that looks like we're getting in there around -40. So we've got a -2 to -40 range. What we want to do is go in and let's take just a small selection of audio. Let's call it like this area right here. And I'm going to go into my effect menu and I'm going to pull up my compressor. Now, there's a lot of knobs here and it's daunting, but that's why I said pick a small piece of audio that is representative of your overall stream and you can play with it. So our threshold here is going to be, what I say, -3. Yeah, let's call it -3. And our floor, noise floor is, call it -40. And the ratio is how much we're going to cause this signal to be, compressed. Attack time, release time, you're not really going to do that. What those things will do for you is give you a little bit of a, excuse the noise there. You could do some creative things like in music if you wanted to, like if you hit your guitar string, you didn't want the string hit, but you just wanted the sound of the string. So you can make it go wow instead of bow. So that's what that attack and release time will do for you. Make up for 0 decibels. So basically what we're saying is once we get all of our processing done, we're going to overall increase the level of the entire signal up to 0 decibels. So the peaks are hitting at 0. And compress based on peaks. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but that's the magic of using this preview. You can hit this thing and see what sounds better and kind of come in here and adjust the dial. So let's see what this gives us.
So yeah, maybe we should yak a little bit so we figure out a rhythm to not step on each other.
All right. So that showed us peaking out at 0. That's what we wanted. So I kind of like those numbers. I'm going to click cancel right here. I don't want to click OK. I'm going to hit cancel because I don't want to apply to that signal right there. I'm going to come over and find a slightly quieter section like here. So where somebody's trailing off and then getting into a loudspeaking. So let's try this. Let's listen to it raw. Okay, great. So we were right up the road and never even fucking met.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go in and grab our compressor and try that same clip. Okay, great. So we were right up the road and never even fucking met.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I want to bring my ratio up. Let's see what that does for us. Okay, great. So we were right up the road and never even fucking met.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to bring that up a little bit more. Okay, great. So we were right up the road and never even fucking met.
Yeah.
All right, and let me bring this back a little bit. Okay, great. So we were right up the road and never even fucking met.
Yeah.
And let's bring this up to 7.
Okay, great. So we were right up the road and never even fucking met.
Yeah.
All right, good. You see that now I'm when I'm speaking there, I'm getting up around to -6, where when we started, we were down around -24. So I'm going to bring this up just a little bit more. And the other speaker that you hear there is Pandina. And I think he's still hitting a little high, so I'm going to bring him down just a little bit. Okay, great. So we were right up the road and never even fucking met.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of like that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cancel, because again, I don't want to apply it just to this piece of audio. I want to apply it to the whole thing. So now I will hit Control A to select all, and let's go ahead and remove let's go ahead and run our compressor. So this is going to take a minute to run, and let's just kind of, we'll cut this little white space out and be back in a minute. Okay, so we are back, and it just occurred to me that maybe what I should do is stop sneezing, but what I want to do, let's grab kind of the same section of audio, and what I want to do is bring up the levels as you're hearing it, the same as you would hear me, so we're at the same volume. So me speaking in this saved clip is the same as me speaking into this microphone as far as what you're able to hear on the stream. So let's try that real quick. I'm just going to mess with this a couple times. Play. Okay, great. So we were right up the road and never even fucking met.
Yeah. I was
perfect.
actually.
All right, so that's a little bit closer. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I've got this nasty noise that you can definitely hear. Let's listen to this. Okay, there's some fan noise, and then I've got this other hum thing going on over here. Let's listen to this. Oh, yeah. Hear that nastiness? Actually, I don't know if you can. Well, it's there, and apparently my my reefer is blocking you from hearing that, maybe. So anyway, what I'm going to do is there's all this nasty stuff. I'm going to go ahead and create a noise profile, the same thing that I do in reefer here, right? So I'm going to go and use this. I'm going to go into my noise reduction filter. And you can notice here it's 2 steps. So number 1, you want to get, and just read the directions, select a few seconds and click Get Noise Profile. Boom, now we have a noise profile. Now, what I want to do is listen to a chunk of audio with that noise profile applied. So let's listen to it together first as raw.
Neil is calling you bad names.
All right. And then let's listen to it in the filter. So we'll go back in, hit noise reduction, and let's go for a preview.
Neil is calling you bad names.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so much nicer. I really like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of here once again because I don't want to apply it just there. Actually, let me apply it just there, and then we'll undo. Just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. Isn't a comparison. So noise reduction, there it is. I can spell. And let's say okay. Okay, boom, look at that. We tapered these things way, way down. All right. So let's undo. We'll select all. I'm going to apply noise reduction on the entire clip. And he's off and running. Again, we're going to fast forward through this, or I'll cut it out or something. And I'll be back with you when this finishes. I don't know where that's coming from. That's interesting. I've got a hidden mic somewhere. Gotta figure that one out. All right, so we got through that. So let's go back and take a listen now. Oh yeah, some of this looks a lot nicer. I don't know if you can tell.
Okay. Oh, so that needs to be plugged in there.
Jesus Christ, I'm glad I'm not doing this.
Oh yeah, this is fucking. All right.
Early trials and tribulations.
Hey. I don't know.
Oh, damn it. I gotta go scrub that. Hold on, let me take a time index here. 2511. Damn it. Whatever. It sounds a lot nicer now. Let's pick another place downstream. Oh yeah, this looks good up here.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
So you're in Florida? I had no
next.
idea you were in Florida.
Yeah, okay, great. So, we'll probably shit. You know what? There's so much of this podcast that we have to cut out. All right, so 2511 up to let's say 2545. All right, let's see what this looks like up here.
Where's yours?
Oh shit, that's my phone. Oh shit.
Okay, so those levels are hitting pretty good. That brings me to the next thing that I want to do, which is called silence truncation. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to find these extended gaps here. So, for example, this is 1.2 seconds. So this goes from 26.2 to 27.4. So this is 1.2 seconds in here. Let's just get a quick profile on that. All right, so that looks like we peaked out there at around 44. Let's look. Oh, this is interesting. This is we lost the call and we tried to reconnect it, and I had the audio piped in, so that's the audio rings. But let's listen to the silence in between and see what that looks like. All right, so that's really low. That's down around, I don't know, 52. Oh, but look, we got some noise up here. Yeah, I had another problem later on, apparently. Let's listen to this. Okay, so that's another thing that we're going to fix later. That buzz that's pretty low. And I don't know if you can see it or hear it, but it happens down around the 180, 200 hertz mark. Unfortunately, that's going to mess around with us a little bit. But let's go ahead and do our silence truncation, and we'll use 44 as a value. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all, and we're going to go to truncate silence. As I mentioned, this is a plugin that you have to install. The instructions are easy to find online. You just look for Audacity truncate silence. It's on the Audacity wiki page as their list of approved plugins or something like that. You download it right from there, follow the instructions to get it installed, and then you go ahead and run this. So we've got a threshold. This is going to say anything that is below this threshold is considered silence. And let's go ahead and keep it at 42. I kind of like that. And we're going to say anything that is 1 second or greater, and that's what this is, we're going to reduce it to be half of a second. That's it. So click this thing, and we're going from 3244 down to 3115. So we've removed 90 seconds of dead air from this podcast. Ooh, look at that. There's some nasty stuff in there. I might just have to leave that in, but that's that hum that I want to get rid of next. So let's see if we can get that accomplished. Let's go listen to this thing. So again, I don't know if this is coming through for you. All right, but that guy's hitting in the 42s. So what we can do here is go to Analyze, and I want to do a plot spectrum. I want to find out where this guy is. So this guy, he's hitting about 100 hertz. So if I bring my 100 hertz down if we bring him from 40 down to I don't know. We don't have to bring them down much. Bring them down to, 48 or 52, somewhere in there. Let's see what we can do. So the way we're going to do that is, I don't know. So I think what we need here is a high pass filter. And we're going to say for this high pass filter that anything over 120 hertz, we're going to let through, and anything below 120 hertz, we're going to take it away. So let's see what happens. Ooh. Okay, I thought it did nothing there. Let's put that back to 1,000, see what that sounds like. Oh, yeah, that was much nicer. Okay, that's going to be too much. It gets really tinny up there. Let's take our 12. So let's do 1,000 at 12, and let's pick some of that silence and some of the next talking and see how that sounds.
Yeah, I'm kind of good.
Oh, no, that's no good. All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of good.
Not digging it here. So let's go back and take a look at our spectrum. All right, so obviously this thing is happening, and where does this come to? This comes up to about 186. It's got a little peak there at, what is that, 220 or so? 230? So let's make our filter go for, let's call it 300. And we'll take everything at 300. Actually, I think there's a different filter we want to use for this. I think this is the guy. The notch filter. So the notch filter cuts a hole. Oh yeah, you can hear the difference there. Okay, so 100 isn't too bad. Higher value reduces width, so let's go 0.8. That's not too bad. Okay, I kind of live with that. All right, so we're going to do 100 at 0.7. Let's try 120 at 0.7. No, let's do 100 at 0.7. Let's see. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. I want to do that for the entire audio stream. Of course, I could just go find the problem section in here. But I think that that's going to create some pops and stuff that I don't want to deal with. I don't know, maybe not. Let's just run this on the entire thing and see where that gets us. So, notch filter, 100 at 0.7. Send this guy off and running. Ooh. Oh, that looks nice and clean. See how my noise drops down to like just a line for the most part? A couple places it's a little screwy. We had a different thing going on in here. Let's see what this is. Okay, that's a different noise that we can go and try and figure out. And let's see what our sound is like overall.
Testing. All right, so I'm getting good blips.
Okay, this is not too bad. I am kind of liking this.
You know, that it kind of pisses you off, and you get like, I hate to use the word, but you really.
Okay, I'm liking this. I'm liking where we're at. So the final thing that I want to do is I want to see if I could bring some bass into our voice. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky because I just took all that bass hum out. And so if I go put bass back in, that kind of still exists on the signal. So we're getting a little long here, but let's say if I was to go in here, and I think there's another filter that I can use. Well, one thing I could do is I could do a compress again. I don't know if that's going to get us a lot. You know what? Let me just take let me take a section of audio and let's just bump up the bass and see what happens. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go to equalization. And if you look at my voice right here on this VU, so you could see that I've got around 120 coming up to 200 and then kind of moving out on a curve. So I think what I want to do is I want to bring this up a little bit. Obviously, I've run this before for similar operations, so it's kind of where I want it. But let's see what this sounds like.
I'm in West Palm.
Okay, great. So we were right up the road and never even fucking met. All right, well, that's not too bad. Again, this was early audio, so even though the audio that you're listening to right now with me talking is not great, the stuff we did back then was nowhere near the level of quality that we have now. So I'm going to cancel out of there. I'm going to grab this whole thing. Let us apply this equalization and see if this gets us to where we want to be. We're going to go back and sample at multiple places in the clip and see if we've reintroduced any of that noise that we just worked so hard to get rid of. All right, that doesn't look too bad. Let's go and take a little bit of listening.
And
all right, I can live with that. Obviously we got a couple of places in here where, oh, that's actually somebody taking a breath. That's not so bad. Ideally it wouldn't be there, but this is much, much improved over what we started with. Oh yeah, look at that. Can't even hear that. All right, so, ooh, what's this nasty? Oh, there's nasty in here. Oh, yeah. All right, we got to get rid of that, whatever that is. All right, so what this is a hard drive, which I had accidentally shifted, and it got onto my microphone stand, and so the spinning of the hard drive is coming up through, even though I had, shock mounts and everything on the microphone itself, that stuff is still coming through. So let us try and get rid of that. So again, let's do an analysis on this guy. Ooh, ugly. He's right where I don't want him. Look at this. 90 to 100. All right, so this is a good example of where I might just do this particular reduction on a small area. I'm not really sure. Oh yeah, I definitely figured out that that was a problem and got rid of it. So we'll call it about here. So this is at 2034. And probably somewhere in here, it looks like, is where it starts.
Taught myself Eddie Bravo's lockdown and all that, Gumby horse shit that he does just to stifle those guys so I had a chance to think about what the hell I was going to do. It was like, yeah, I'm going to hold on to my own leg, motherfucker. Just stop crushing me.
Dude, that was my original martial.
All right. So I like it in there. Let's see if we can find that and get rid of it. Let's do the notch filter again and see what this does.
Taught myself Eddie Bravo's lockdown and all that, Gumby horse shit that he does. Just
Let's run with that. See what that does for us. Oh yeah, that definitely knocked it down a bit. Now the question is going to be, is that going to cause a lot of listening continuity problems? So let's run from here for about 10 seconds.
Every day of the week, I guess, for about 2 years. I took Sundays off sometimes.
Oh, nice. All right, so that's nice and clean there. All right, let's just scrub through the rest of this and take a quick look. Is there anything jumping out? I don't think so. I mean, there's a couple of places, but that could just be, breathing or whatever. And again, I'm trying to get this episode out, so, we still got a lot more work to do on this guy. So I think that's good right there. You know what I might do? I might run a compress pass on this one more time and just see if we can get it a little bit more normalized. I'm going to use the same values that I did before. All right, so we did bring up our noise there a little bit, so I want to undo that. Let's go back and see where these peaks are hitting. We might just run this entire process again. Let's see where this noise is hitting. All right, so that's hitting it like 52. Oh, yeah, what I want to do, let's get a long one. Yeah, I don't know what this is. What is this going on in here? Whatever, that's going to be cut out of the final edit anyway, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. All right, let's take this guy. And let's go build a noise profile from him. And give it a little listen. Okay. Digging it. Oh, dude, I like that. That is pristine. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so now I'm going to run my compressor again, and we're going to set our noise floor really low. Like 60. Okay. I'm liking this. This is starting to look good. This is starting to look like usable audio. Let's jump up here and listen. Hopefully something that I don't have to redact.
Yeah, purple belt.
What tournament?
Worlds.
Oh.
Okay. I'm loving it. I don't have all the bass in this that I want, but I think I've squeezed about as much out of this as I can. And I got 3 more of these to get through, which brings me to an important point. All of the settings and tweaks that I made in this clip, they may not work in the next clip. As I mentioned, as you saw actually in this stream, there was noise that I had for a small amount of time, and I addressed that noise specifically for the 2 or 3 minutes of audio where that occurred, using a notch filter to just take it out. The noise profile, I had that other whiny line noise. Oh, wait, what is that? Yeah, we did. Oh, we missed one. What is this? That's like a low. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that in here for now. And because that's a fairly small section of audio, I know I've got a lot of cuts to do in this audio because we just went totally off the rails and we're talking about all sorts of stuff that we don't want to include in our output. So, in fact, this is the episode where we introduced the notion of having a frost button, and that's why. It's because we were just saying all sorts of stuff. Nothing terribly nasty, just, we don't want to be using everybody's names all the time. So I'm going through and I've got to cut all this stuff out. So the point being that I'm not going to address that section of audio because it may be something that ends up on the floor anyway. So I'm not going to mess with it. What I've got here, I like this product for, what I had to work with. I'm going to go and try and get these other clips rectified to the same level of quote-unquote quality, and then we will get back with our next video on we're going to bring all this stuff back into ShotCut, and we're going to start cutting out some audio and showing you how to kind of hide those little when you do extended cuts, you'll get these little clicks. We'll get into it on the next video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, hit like, whatever, or don't. I don't care. And we will see you on the next episode. This has been How to Completely Fail at a Podcast, Episode 2 with Sub Messenger for bullshito.net. Good day.